chunk things down, and we have a little tactic for you later, you'll see. If you don't chunk things down, everything does look so big that it's just hard to get started. Do I start with the trunk? Do I start with the tail? Do I start with the leg? Where am I supposed to start? Sometimes we just have to act in order to know what the second step is. Met with a business owner Tuesday night, and she's just starting a brand new business. She's really excited. She has her plan done, and now she's frozen. So how come you're frozen? She said, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I don't know if my first step is the right step. I said, just take the step. Because then you'll know what the second step is and the third step and so on. Sometimes you need action to know what the next action is. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. The enormity of the task frees us. Inadequate resources, we think. But there's the rule of abundance. Generally speaking, we have everything we need. We just have to keep looking for it. Sometimes we don't change and we don't set goals, right? Because things move so fast, why should we? Many an entrepreneur have said that. Right? Analysis paralysis also gets annoying. Page 2. Past practices and habits. This is a big issue. Well, you know, I made it through last year. I'll make it through this year. Right? Those types of habits. Company culture can get in the way. And then this poor guy who's been there, done that, and just doesn't want to try anything different. And leadership. We have no modeling of what's important, only what's urgent in the business. Here's the deal. As managers, owners, executives in your company, you are looked upon daily to determine by your employees what behaviors get rewarded and what behaviors do not. What habits get rewarded and what habits do not. And we have to know that and understand it. Now, the way people work together, that's also culture and the lack of process, ritual, or accountability for following up on our goals. These are the things that get in the way. First and foremost, not taking the time to set goals. All a part of the change process. So how do we overcome this? By the way, is the guy on the right hand up in the corner here look familiar? Mm-hmm. I've been doing that a lot lately. My IT guy is the richest guy in my virtual world. Well, here's that formula for change. Write this down. This is really important for you. And this can be important to you personally, right, as well as in your business. And in many respects, it can be important to you in terms of how you assess and manage your employees. What this formula tries to describe is that for the most part, people are either running away from something or towards something. Both need to be very compelling to work you through the formula. The D stands for dissatisfaction. And the V stands for vision. If we want to change, and this is fundamental to setting goals as well, we need to know what we're running from. What is it that we're dissatisfied with? Maybe sales have been flat. Maybe margins have eroded. Maybe certain marketing tactics just aren't working the way they had been. Or maybe I'm still a little bit in the dark as to what marketing tactics are working. I'm dissatisfied with that. I'm dissatisfied with the visibility that I have about my business. Or I'm just dissatisfied in having too many bills and not knowing what to do with those. The business is there to serve. So understand and crystallize dissatisfaction. This is the thing you're running away from. Then identify what it is that you want. And you know, when you start to develop vision for yourself, I'd urge you to go out like 3 years, not much more than that, but 3 years. And don't do it linearly. Really cast yourself out there in the 3rd year. Say, what do I and my business look like 3 years out? Don't say 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year, because you'll be dragging a lot of baggage with you. Instead, cut the cord to the baggage, cast yourself out 3 years. Because then the next step is the planning process, and we would have you turn around and look back and look at all the things you accomplished to have achieved that vision 3 years out. If we do it linearly, we will undershoot what we could truly possibly have done. If we do it linearly, we carry baggage, and we will undershoot what truly we possibly could have done. So, crystallize the D, and really visualize the vision. Those are the first two things. Once you've done that, and if they are compelling, they should cause you to assess and go for the first step. Unfortunately, this is also where people freeze because they don't know the first step. So reach outside of yourself and say, well, where would you start? Where would you start, Dave? Where would you start, John? Where would you start, Jim? Mark, where would you start? Ask friends. Given this and given that, where would I start? That will get you to the first step. And finally, if you can accomplish D times B plus F, excuse me, you will overcome, I swallowed something, a bird, I think, or some cartoon character. You will overcome resistance. Okay? It's coming back. Another formula. This is really a critical formula. It's what I call destination's roots. So destination is the goal. Destination is the vision. It's where you want to be, it's where you want to go. What keeps us and prevents us from getting to destination? So we're really good at identifying haves. Those are the results that we want. We aren't so good at identifying the two critical other components of that equation. Because we don't have someone to rely on to facilitate us through maybe the thinking process. Right? So we're pretty good at identifying the haves and the goals or the results. So each of you have sort of in your head what you'd like to have in the next 6 months. You have a bit of a goal in terms of maybe something you want to buy for yourself, your wife, your children, your home. Maybe it's a spring break. I don't know. But we're good at sort of visualizing in our heads what we want to have. Where we tend to falter is the alignment of our rational and our emotional. And truly dig deep and understand, well, what is it that I have to do to get to the have? That's our actions. I have a saying that I've been using for years with people who have worked for me and with peers. And the saying goes, it's very simple. Nothing is automatic. Absolutely nothing is automatic. From the minute you wake up in the morning, nothing is automatic. So we really need to understand what it is that we have to do to get X. The actions. Now, where we get even, what should I say, a little weaker in the whole process is we don't spend enough time on identifying what our B needs to be. Needs to be. The B is K-A-S-H. If we do a good job on that, you could substitute the K for a C. And that's a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. K is knowledge. What do I have to change about what I know in order to do the things I have to do? It is about being different. I met with a guy who runs a staffing agency in Rolling Meadows. And we were just talking about our client base, and I was asking him, I said, so what are you seeing in your client base? Are you seeing the improvement, the so-called improvement, right, that the Wall Street Journal reports and the USA Today? Are you seeing that in your clients? He said, well, I'm seeing it in some. I said, well, great. I mean, and so fundamentally, what is it that you're seeing about the ones that are improving and prospering, or at least improving? Let me not go so far as prospering yet. And he says, those are the ones that are doing things differently. They've consciously chosen that we're going to do things differently. We're going to do things differently. So they've been conscious about saying nothing is automatic. Now, I don't know how successful they've been at going to the B part, and that is to really be introspective and ask yourself, K, what is it about my knowledge? A, what is it about my attitude that I need to shift or change? S, what is it about my skills? The practical, hands-on skills that I may have to change in order to do what needs to be done. And then finally, habits. What habits do I have to change or adopt? You know, they say it takes 7 weeks. There's probably some folks who know this stat better than I do, but